Hi guys, so today we're going to be reacting to Don't Touch the Ladies, and then we forgot the second half. But today we're going to be reacting to two videos. It's going to be this one and this one right here. The one is the red cow. So let's just get started with the first one. Don't touch the ladies.
Hello all of you lovely people watching, and welcome back to another video here on the Broogly channel. It's me, Broogly, as always, and in this video I want to go over a backrooms level that's extremely dangerous, to say the least. It's called level 154, aka the laser game, and it's a pretty insane level that I didn't know about, so if you're like me, stay tuned for the explanation. Also, I just want to let you know, at 500,000 subscribers, I'm going to be buying these backroom pants and making a video with them on, and doing a photo shoot with them. I just thought you should know that. Anyways, let's get right into the video, shall we? Level 154 is classified as a class 5 survival difficulty and is very much unsafe, unsecure, and actually has a low entity count, despite what you might think. Because the entities here are not what's actually dangerous. It's the level itself. Because this is the level that's home to something called the laser game. More on what that is in a few minutes. I'm going to explain what the level looks like now. The level is physically made up of looping and winding hallways that go on forever. The hallways are made of stone, and they're all the exact same color, which is pitch black. And the only light in the level comes from these really dingy colored lights in the ceiling that don't even really put off light, kind of just a random glow. However, the main attraction of this level is the big open rooms where the laser game is played. Now these rooms all have doors with a specific symbol painted on them, and I'll get into what they mean in a second. But the entire level can be separated into two distinct parts: the corridors and the laser rooms. Obviously, the corridors are just the black stone hallways that I just talked about, and the laser rooms are, well, the laser rooms. The temperature in the hallway corridors is typically just lukewarm until you get closer to a laser room, because then it starts to get hot. So that's kind of how you can decide if you're close or not, or where you should go. It's also heavily recommended to carry a flashlight and maybe some powder or breadcrumbs with you so you can mark your path and not get lost in these infinite hallways, because those are the only ways that you can escape the level, and if you don't find them, you're just gonna be stuck here forever. So you gotta find those labeled doors, because there's no water, food, or supplies on this level at all.
Oh my god, you're mad.
This is the story of how I got Simply Guitar and stopped feeling like a total failure. When I was a kid, I begged my mom.
So now I'm going to talk about the laser rooms themselves. Obviously, the laser rooms are where the laser games are located. Behind each of those doors with those symbols on them, there's huge open rooms with a bunch of lasers pointing across it. Yeah, it's like some Mission Impossible stuff. Past these lasers, there's always a pedestal with a pendant on top of it. And this pendant is going to be in the same shape as the shape on the door. That's how they're coded together. You can probably guess where this is going, but your goal is to get to that pendant by crawling, jumping, or rolling under these lasers at all costs without getting hit. And there's also a time limit for each room. Now obviously in most of these rooms you can hit a laser or get grazed by a laser and you'll be semi-okay, just a little bit burnt. But you probably wouldn't want to in some of them because the lasers are more powerful there. So the goal is for when you and whoever you're with, if you're with somebody, when you both get to the pendant, you immediately grab it and touch it, both of you. And then you'll be teleported out of the laser room and back to level 1, which is where you came from. And that's how you get out of this level. And then once you touch it, you get to keep the pendant. The one you took will be immediately replaced by an identical one. Now this all sounds, pretty easy, right? Just avoid the lasers, touch the pendant, and you'll be fine. Well, that's not really the case with all the rooms, which I'm going to get into the individual room types right now. The first room is called the line room, which has a straight blue line painted on the door. The lasers inside of this specific room stay still and they don't move. But they are the most powerful out of all the lasers because they just stay in one spot and they just beam constantly. Obviously, they can cause bad injuries and burns if touched, so don't. The line room has a lot more time on the clock than the other rooms typically. It starts a 60-second countdown the exact moment you walk into the room, so you don't have that much time. If you can't make it to the pedestal with the pendant in time, then the pendant will retract into the floor and you won't be able to get it. The lasers will turn off and then the door will unlock and you'll have to walk out. Now obviously, you might think that you get off the hook too easily, but you gotta think. Getting a pendant is the only way to get out of this level. So now that you didn't get the pendant, you're trapped here again and you have to go find another room, and they're not even common, they're pretty rare. So you should never fail, you should try your hardest here. Now the line room is one of the easiest rooms because the lasers don't move and it's not that big of a space. So if you see it, I recommend going for it. Now the next room is called the Circle Room, which has a yellow circle painted on its door, and just like the line room, when you walk inside the room, the door slams behind you and locks itself, and you're stuck here until you win, or until you lose. However, the lasers here are actually always moving, although they're moving pretty slowly, but they're still moving. And this Circle Room does not have a timer, which is nice. On top of that, the room itself is pretty small, and the lasers themselves are pretty weak. They're actually the weakest out of all the rooms, so getting hit by one would just mean a minor scrape. You can even block these specific lasers with a thick, non-reflective object, like a chair or a stool or something, you know, something sturdy. But this is the only room that would work on because of how weak the lasers are. Now the next room after this is the Triangle Room, which has a red triangle painted on its door, and this is the smallest of all the rooms, because it's the most dangerous. This room has a puzzle inside of it that's made up of 7 prisms that have to be aligned in a certain order to block the lasers. Which is cool if you're smart. If you're not, you might be screwed. If you come into the Triangle Room, you can't even leave until the prism is solved. And there's no timer, so you could just be stuck in there. So for this reason, it's not recommended to try this room at all, because some people might not be smart enough to solve the puzzles. The second to last room is the Square Room, and it's marked with a green square on the door. This room is seemingly impossible to escape through, because the lasers are so close together that humans just can't squeeze through without getting hurt. But apparently some people have actually made it through, but no one knows how they did it, so there's gotta be some like cheat or some puzzle to solve, but so far, no one knows how to get through. Don't go in a square room, alright? Now the last room is called the Pentagon Room, which has a pink pentagon painted on its door. And this one is by far the easiest for pretty much everyone, depending on the wanderer. It involves running, like sprinting. When you step foot in the Pentagon Room, behind you the laser will start, and it will start to move forward, so the second you open that door, you gotta start running as fast as you can to the end of the room where the pedestal is, because that laser is gonna be going, and if you get caught by that laser wall, man, it's over. And this room is pretty much just a test of physical strength and agility. It's pretty much like the storm in Fortnite, just moving right behind you constantly, but faster. But that being said, if you trust in yourself to run at all, this is definitely the easiest room to escape the level in. Now to enter this level, there's only one way, and it's from following these colored bulbs in random areas of level 1 that match the colors of the pendants. And then you'll be led to the entrance to here. And you can only exit the level by touching and grabbing the pendants past one of the lasers in the laser rooms, which will take you back to level 1 where you came from. I guess the cool thing is you can keep the pendant as kind of a trophy. It's not magic or anything, but it's pretty cool.
Well, that's it for that video, but it's just the outro. Now it's time for the weirdest backrooms level. Okay, let's just go.
Why are you doing this?
Because Mountain Dew ads need tension and action to be exciting. That's mine. All right. For later. Do the do.
Unicorns are real. They live in the Google app. Just search. Tap U in 3D.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another video on the Nice Guys channel. I'm your host, Brutally the Nice Guy, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the weirdest backrooms levels on the Wikidot. that I've found so far. I think this series might be pretty fun to do, so if you do enjoy it, make sure to let me know down below in the comments. But you can probably guess by the name what the series is going to be about. This is going to be where I talk about the weirdest levels that I run across that do weird things, or look weird, or just are described really wackily, or just, they're weird. But yeah, let's get into it, shall we?
Well, that was cool.
Up first for the video is a level that a ton of people over on my Discord server have sent me in the past few days. If you want to join the Discord, it'll be in the description. And I literally thought that it was a joke at first, but apparently it's real. And it's backrooms level 756, aka, quote, "On Big Island live only one cow." End quote. Yes, that's exactly what it's called. Level 756 is classified as a Class 0 difficulty, so it's pretty safe, and you won't really have to worry about any entities except the cow. The level is split up into 8 different islands that are apparently floating in a void of fog and mist, and there are sometimes oak trees on the islands, but mainly they're just made up of grass and dirt. The island that's in the very middle of this cluster is actually smaller than a regular city block, and the rest of the islands surround it in a circular pattern. And they're all connected by these rope bridge things that you've all seen before. The first weird thing about this level, minus its name, is that there's a distorted sound of piano music being played constantly on the level from an unknown source. And no, it's not the cow. People who have actually been here say that the music calms them down, and they actually refer to it as relaxing and melancholic. Nice. There's even an account of a wanderer saying that the level makes all of your thoughts and memories of your real life fade away, and then the level overwhelms you with the feeling that you're just a small speck in the sea of existence. That's pretty weird, if you ask me. The level has no entities except for that one single cow that lives in the middle island. The cow only notices people, it doesn't actually interact with them, and it never even moves from the spot it's in. It just stands there in the same position and looks at people. Some people have actually touched the cow, and they say that when they did that, an overwhelming sense of sadness washes over them. So Brooklyn says, don't touch the cow. There isn't a confirmed entrance to this level, but it is known that when people come here, it's sudden and quick and random. And most of the time, people who come here have been reportedly not right in the head before they were here. So spooky. And when people get here to exit, they typically just lay on the grass and eventually fall asleep, which then makes them wake up in their bed, feeling content with life and much happier. So yeah, I mean, it's a cool level. It's pretty weird, but it's cool. But it's really weird. The next level for today's video is level 409, aka the Paper Rooms. This level has a Class 1 survival difficulty, and is relatively safe. The level is a massive expanse of rooms that are changing all the time, but are completely made out of paper, like the paper you write on. The walls are literally just 2 pieces of paper thick. And this means that the walls themselves can easily be broken and are really fragile, so anyone can just tear them or rip them or do whatever they want to. It's just paper. The level is said to look kinda like level 0, but with slight differences in the wallpaper design and layout. But obviously the main difference is that the walls here can just be torn down by anybody. The ceiling on this level is actually a perfectly white void that also emits a kind of light for the level. Apparently, the light's really bright. And the floor of this level is actually made out of cardboard, which is just barely more durable than the paper walls, and can easily be torn into. And actually, if you break through the cardboard, you'll be able to see down into level 410. So that's pretty cool. This cardboard is actually a resource that's harvested for the base here called Fort Origami. Yep, that's right. The Paper Rooms has a base called Fort Origami. Creative. Fort Origami is the only big group here on level 409, and they're set up in a huge open area that they made by tearing down paper walls to have a huge open room. There's 19 people in the whole base, but there's actually a subgroup inside of this group that's about 6 people, and those 6 people travel around to different levels, searching for supplies and food to keep the entire 19 people alive. And they apparently chose to set up shop on this level to avoid the clutter of other levels. Based? The next group on this level isn't really a group, but it's a BNTG outpost. It's called BNTG Outpost Intercia, which is just a settlement set up by the BNTG group while they finish a full base here. It's located on the outskirts of the level, and it houses supplies, weaponry, food, clothing, just, typical stuff. But it's like a temporary base until they get their full base.
Cool shirt.
It is, isn't it? Is someone trying to steal your Butterfinger?
Up and going. There's actually one entity here, believe it or not, and it's called the folds. These things are large pieces of paper that from far away look like crumbled up jumbles of paper, but when you get closer, you can see that each fold is deliberate and that it's not one piece of paper, it's individual cards. These cards no-clip through each other and end up making non-Euclidean shapes, which is supposedly mesmerizing and even hypnotic in a way to people passing by, because the cards themselves will slowly rotate and fold in on themselves and create this sort of hypnosis thing. The fold entity is completely harmless, and they have been seen repairing the broken walls or floors on this level, and they've even been heard singing to wanderers as they pass by. That's right, singing. And on top of this, they're actually invincible because the paper that makes them up can heal itself when it's torn. So if you tear a piece off of a fold, it'll literally just grow back instantly. So don't try to break one. To enter this level, you can find a set piece on level 104 that's made completely out of paper, and you just go into that set piece and look away from the exit door, and you'll be sent here. You can exit this level by a couple ways, one of them being breaking directly through the floor and jumping into level 410, or you can just go through a random door that'll open up to exit to level 1 or any other random level. Yeah, I think this was pretty weird. It's literally level 0 but made completely out of paper with a cardboard floor. I mean, that just seems creepy. So yeah, these were two of the weirdest backrooms levels that I came across over on the Wikidots.
If you want more reaction videos, well, leave a comment, and that's it. So